Hello and welcome to the Dadi podcast, where we explore why it's not something new that we need, but something different. Dadi means grandmother in Hindi, and we draw on her wisdom, the skills of making do, mending, and caring for what we already have. In this podcast, we share the stories behind that work, from fashion and sustainability to community, creativity, and quiet acts of change. So, let's start the conversation. Right, hello. So, I'm sitting here this morning down in our Dadi office, which is a bit cold down here, really. Talking to Kathy, who works for us as a volunteer. But Kathy also works with the European Union of Women Marina Alta. And I'm keen to have a chat with you today. Good morning, or good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Here we are. Because we've got International Women's Day coming up on the 8th of March. And we need to start talking about this, don't we?
Yeah. It's already being talked about extensively.
Great.
So Marina Alta.
So first of all, how did you get involved with the European Union of Women, Marina Alta?
Well, it was Margaret Hales, who is the former president of the International European Union of Women. And I met her at a dinner party up on the Cumbre del Sol, that lovely restaurant with the swimming pool. And like just about everybody else in our committee, she roped us into it. You can't say no to Margaret in the best and the nicest possible way. She's just a powerhouse of a woman, and she inspired me. Yeah,
she's lovely. I met her, I think, at one that I came along to a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
and they all seemed like to be. Power in one room was amazing. So lots of things going on here, especially in the Costa Blanca, believe it or not. But so to tell me, Kathy, what kind of support do these groups mainly offer women?
Okay, our group, rather than offering support, we're all about raising awareness about women's issues and equality. So we don't support specific cases. For example, we do a lot of work around domestic violence, but rather than take on specific cases, we refer people, for example, to the Women's Centre in Denia, because it's very specialist. These women need a lot of support. And if you try and get involved, it's not the best for them, because they get psychological help, they get financial help, they get legal and police help and everything that they need. So we'll help them with translation, or we'll help them with travel, getting to these places. But we're a lot about raising awareness so that women can have access to the information that's available.
And is that a problem there, I suppose, because women don't know that there's help out there for them when they get into that kind of situation, or a dangerous situation, that there are people out there that if they can reach out, but it's, if they don't know about it.
Somewhat. I mean, I find that Spain is very progressive, and it's hard to miss these messages. For example, Benita Chell, for the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. That's every 25th of November. And Benita Chell printed 100 big purple banners.
Okay, so just going back to this, how do women's groups usually mark the 8th of March?
Okay, well, I've been quite pleasantly surprised in Spain. It's a very progressive country in terms of women. We've actually been in the planning stages for some weeks now. The first meetings kicked off with the Benita Chell Town Hall with the Equality Councillor, and we've organised several events that we'll participate in with them. And we've organised our own event, which is about women having their voices heard. And we'll be doing a talk about microfeminism, about communication, And it's really to open a dialogue and get women talking about their feelings and how to express themselves. There'll be a march, there'll be a women's football match, and there'll be 100 purple banners about equality all around the town. I've been to the meeting at the Tailata Moraira Town Hall as well. That was last week. And several events. They're doing visual arts, they do theatre, they do literature, they get the kids in the schools involved, they do plays, all kinds of things. And we've got another meeting coming up next week. Or the week after with the Javier Equality Council. Yeah,
so
and that's just three.
That's loads,
Marina Alta, and we're making connections all the time. We're volunteers, so we can't go to all of them, unfortunately. But there are incredible women, and there are programs and programs of activities. And I encourage women to have a look at what's going on, because there are some
making
really
awareness,
interesting things.
Yeah,
last year the Tailata Moraira Town Hall did like free Reiki workshops and cooking classes and all kinds of things. And I always say to people, you know, when you're learning Spanish, especially, get muck in there and get to meet some Spanish. They're so lovely, so welcoming.
Okay, so that's amazing. So women, you know, we're putting this out there and trying to make people aware, not only, you know, the local community aware of what's going on for these women, but the women as well, to be aware that there is help out there for, you know, for them. So what message do you think these women, you know, need to hear right now?
Oh, recently one that's come up for me is, I would say to women, stop apologising. I hear this so often, and it's so disempowering. You know, when there's a genuine, heartfelt apology needed, yes, think about doing that, but not just, oh, sorry, I didn't make this cake very well, or sorry, my voice isn't very good, or sorry, I'm not dressed very well. And they disempower themselves. So I would like to say to them, be brave.
Yeah, be brave. Get out there.
Valiente.
Stand up. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to, you know, what Dadi can do for International Women's Day. And one thing, you know, I read was that obviously the theme colour is purple. So we need a lot of people dressing up in purple that day, but we'll come up with some ideas, I think. And if we can do any fundraising, if we can get some people together to do some fundraising. You mentioned earlier that you know, a lot of these ladies need help with translators or legal advice or anything like that. I mean, could we help there? Could we do something there? Would that be of any use?
Yes, I mean, we're bringing together a pool of interpreters. Some of the struggles that I've noticed that women in situations of domestic violence have had here is that if they don't have a car and they don't speak the language, I mean, living in Moraira, the bus goes once every 3 weeks, isn't it?
Something like that.
No, it's not quite that bad, but it's not easy to get to an appointment at the Women's Centre in Denia. It's difficult, so, you know, maybe somebody would be available to take them up there. Or
Yeah. Well, let's see what we can do, and let's see what comes up.
Yep.
So, you know, this is our first podcast. So, and it's all about making awareness and bringing a community together, and, you know, especially women and children, you know, that's where our heart goes.
Yeah. And I think it's good for Dadi to highlight the role that women play in sustainability. In sustainability in fashion, it's a huge role. I mean, the planet's not going to survive if this doesn't continue.
No.
And
I did read, you know, once that somebody had said, some famous guy, I can't remember his name, but he said, if you want to get rid of world poverty, then empower the women. And I saw that when I was in India as well, and saw what women were doing there and what empowerment meant to them. You know, in a society where marriages are still arranged, and it's a different culture, I know, to what we have here, but at the end of the day, the women still suffer, and, you know, this has got to stop. It really has. And so I think what you're doing is amazing.
Well, I do too, equally. You're doing very, very well.
Well,
And
between us all.
I would say I really enjoy my time here as a volunteer. So if you're curious about coming and volunteering, come in and muck around in the shop and have a look around the clothes. And
Yeah.
I do a pile of ironing every week. I hate ironing at home, but for some reason
You love
I
it
love
here, yeah. And she's got a whole pile of kids' clothes that are being ironed
They're
at the
doing
moment.
some
Yeah,
lovely
so
kiddies'
please
clothes.
bring your clothes in ironed.
Clothes, yeah.
Because we do work really hard here, and sometimes we do go home exhausted, but it's a good job. It is a good job, and so yeah, as women together, we are empowered. We are all together, and we are trying our utmost to do our best, and let's keep it going. Okay, Kathy, back to that ironing
Thanks,
board, I
Lauren.
think,
Bye.
and bye.